This is Danny, a Latino expat from New York City, living here in the Andes. Weather. It's probably the first thing you're going to notice here, and it might even be the first thing you hear about living in the Andes. Depending on the altitude, we don't have snow, we don't have heat waves, we don't have tornadoes, hurricanes, anything like that. Some people even describe it as being perpetual spring weather. It's about 72, 73 degrees in the daytime, about 52 or 3, 4 in the nighttime. And we have essentially a 12-hour day and a 12-hour night because we're so close to the equator. I don't think we really need to talk so much about temperature. It does fluctuate somewhat between the 70. All right. In the States, from what I remember, a 90-degree day might be an 85-degree night. A 75-degree day might be a 70-degree night. Here, it's a 70-degree day and a 50-degree night. That 20-degree drop is pretty substantial. You can feel it. It feels cold at night. It feels hot in the day, but it's only fluctuating between 50 and 75 degrees. Now here we deal more with altitude as a day-to-day issue. We're at 2,400 meters, which is about 7,900 feet. At this altitude, the air is very thin. You might hear about runners, athletes, coming to high altitude areas like this to train because being exposed to thinner air somewhat increases your body's ability to make red blood cells, which helps you to get more oxygen and hold on to the oxygen that you're able to get here. So people do train here for red cell increasement. And in general, it's harder to breathe for some people. Some people actually move from here after a few years because they find the altitude is just too much for their systems. And a lot of people lose weight here, actually, just from having to walk around, and there's less fast foods, and a lot of hills, and a combination of everything just makes people, I've seen over and over, lots of people who were overweight are now no longer overweight. Now at this altitude, water only gets to 199 degrees boiling. It looks like it's boiling, but it's not 212 degrees. So for example, a perfectly cooked 3-minute egg, what we would call a 3-minute egg in New York, is perfectly soft-boiled egg. Takes 10 minutes here. So do the math and you can figure out your rice, your beans, everything's going to be affected by that. Oven time, oven temperature, fryer temperature. We'll get into all of those details in further episodes. What we really deal with here is a rainy season and a dry season. Right now it's about the end of June. In fact, June. Yeah, the Inti Raymi is coming up very soon. So we just passed through what's called here winter solstice because it's the southern hemisphere. It's a little complicated, but this is the beginning of dry season. It just stopped raining last week. It had been raining pretty much every night and almost every day for the last 6 months. That's what we actually deal with here is a rainy season from October to about May or June. I remember someone posting, I guess this in the days of the blogs, was posting every day the temperature of Cotacachi. And the temperature today was 72 degrees. Wow. So every day he would post this, and eventually I wrote to him and asked him, why aren't you mentioning the rain? it rains every night, and and it. I would say that some of the people who do videos trying to attract attention to this area, to expats to come move here, they're possibly involved in real estate and more interested in unloading property than informing people about life here, what it's like here, the reality here. We also have a very windy season starting around now. Hasn't picked up. Usually it's calm in the mornings, and as the sun heats up the ground, I guess the wind picks up. From here to August, it gets windier and windier, and that's a formidable force. You'll see how it tears apart structures, any lightweight structures, things go flying. Now, we don't have hurricanes or tornadoes. We are kind of shielded on all sides by volcanoes and mountain ranges, where I am anyway. So we luckily we don't have to deal with storms or of any kind. What we have had to deal with, rain is not always the same amount of rain every year, and last year we had the reservoirs that are necessary for hydroelectric power, which this country apparently runs mostly on hydroelectric power. The dams weren't full enough, and we had blackouts last year. The reservoirs are more full now, but in 2025 we had, no, 2024, we had rolling blackouts, brownouts, rationed electricity. It was a rough time. A lot of people got solar panels. So another thing, we have very strong solar rays, UV rays, kind of hit more directly here on the equator. So between about 11 and 1:32, it's highly recommended people wear hats. I see people with umbrellas. The solar, the ultraviolet radiation is pretty strong. It will destroy plastics. Plastics just become so brittle here. I am avoiding using plastics as much as I can now. But the number one atmospheric pressure that we face here is we're in what's called a ring of fire. It's a volcanic zone, so we have lots of volcanoes here. Dozens, as far as I know. In this area we have a lot of Holocene volcanoes, which means that they have erupted in the last 11,000 years, since the Dryas, what do you call it? The last ice age. So they're not considered extinct. Some of the ones that are close to me, they do erupt once in a while, but not in this area. But we do have earthquakes, destructive earthquakes, and with that and the rain, we also have landslides. You could be there's a lot of cliffside roads because we're in the Andes, we're in the mountains. So you could be driving a car with a mountain on one side and a drop-off cliff on the other side, and those are dangerous. I actually think twice before boarding a bus after the rain or after an earthquake, and I actually carry a whistle in case a building falls on top of me or a bus rolls over. Once in a while you do hear about buses just going off the edge of a cliff. You look up Ecuador headlines and it shouldn't be hard to find tragic bus accidents or car accidents where cars going off a cliff. And the landslides, I mean, if you're on one of those roads with right next to a cliff to the side of you and just the tiniest pebble falls from way up there and bounces down the mountain, hits the top of your car, that's a loud bang. And it's just a reminder that if it was a bigger rock, you could be in trouble. So it's a little bit dangerous traveling in that sense. People do get hurt by rocks. Um, let's see. Well, that's mostly what we deal with day to day as far as weather, climate, and the atmospheric conditions. Inti Rhyme is coming up soon, and we'll be talking about some of the cultural atmosphere here. And when I get a chance, I'll talk about the social strife that sometimes presents itself here. But that's all for now. We'll talk to you all soon.